Welcome back to Madam Across New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. As you'll see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we'll be vibing out per usual, you know, just eating dinner, having myself some nice fried rice, stir fry, I suppose. You know, actually that's a thing, you know. And I don't know if I've ever talked about fried rice or stir fry before, but you know, it's a thing I'll say that if you ever want to learn how to cook something easy, then you know, fried rice. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's the easiest thing in the world. I wonder what the easiest like proper meal. I mean, you might sort of debate what a proper meal might constitute, so I guess that's kind of dependent on the person, but I wonder what the easiest to create proper meal actually is. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 6:56 p.m. on Friday, October 21st, 2022. So we're visiting our campsite. Yeah, I like fried rice, and it was very much a staple throughout university of something I would cook because it's something easy. Kind of. I guess there's a bit of an asterisk next to that. It depends on what part of cooking you find easy. I find it's one of the easiest things to actually cook, I suppose, but preparation in of itself can be kind of difficult if you're not very good at, like, you know, chopping vegetables and that sort of thing. And you might be sitting there, you know, if you're, you know, someone who's cooked a long time or cooked a lot or whatever, you might just be scoff at that idea, being like, chopping vegetables isn't difficult. Well, it's probably not difficult if you've done it before multiple times, and it's probably not difficult if, you know, you're used to that sort of thing or been taught how to do it. But, you know, you gotta have, you know, some sympathy, but like some understanding, I suppose, from perspective of, you know, people who maybe haven't been taught exactly how to like prepare vegetables properly or how to chop or etc, best way to hold a knife, etc, because they're gonna find it difficult, right? You know, so let's not scoff at people like that. Now, of course, this entire bit of a conversation is kind of under the assumption that you did. So if you didn't, then I apologise. You just kind of took some friendly fire there. But still, what's my stream deck? Here it is. Yeah, what I was going to say is fried rice is just like incredibly easy as a meal to cook, because basically how I describe fried rice is basically prepare all the things and then just toss them one after each other into a big old frying pan or a big old wok, and then you're good to go. Obviously, you know, if you want like restaurant quality fried rice, that's probably not going to cut it. But like as far as basic fried rice goes, it's what you can do. You know, cook some rice. If you've got a rice cooker, use that. If you don't, use a saucepan. It's all fine. You know, even though I use a rice cooker, I'm not going to judge you for using a saucepan. You know, not everyone's got a rice cooker. Whatever vegetables you got, literally doesn't matter. Chop some amount up, and then, you know, just prepare them mise en place, and then, you know, get to cooking. You know, a little bit of olive oil in the pan. You know, maybe cook an egg first, put the egg on the side, or scramble an egg first, I should say. Don't like fry it. Well, I guess you could fry an egg. You know, that's the thing about fried rice. But the best part of fried rice is why it's so easy, is because literally like anything can go into it. You might be like, what about cotton candy? Okay, not cotton candy. You might be like, what about cyanide capsules? Okay, not cyanide capsules. I mean, most edible savory foods can go into it. Like most vegetables you can chuck into it. Most like meats, leftovers, all perfectly fine to really go into fried rice. And, you know, you can make it vegetarian, you can make it not vegetarian, you can tailor it to suit your dietary requirements quite easily, I'd imagine. Unless you can't eat rice, then I guess that's a bit more difficult, but maybe you could do a substitute for rice. I don't really know. I mean, at the worst comes to worst, you're just frying a load of like vegetables together. That's not that bad, is it? Yeah, you just like chop up whatever you got, like any leftovers you got, or whatever, just like chop them up, toss them in there. It'll be fine, probably. And if it's not fine, then, you know, there's only a certain extent that fried rice can really not be fine. You might dispute that, and I'd be like, okay, that's probably fair, but still. Yeah, I mean, you know, get a bit of like oil in the pan, you know, fry some garlic, that's always a good staple. Broccoli, carrots, you know, those always going quite early. You can always fry some onions and peas, some sweet corn if you particularly want. You might be like, what? That's a weird combination. No, it's not. It's just how it goes. You can use some leftover meat, or you can, you know, prepare some meat at the same time and cook it in a different pan, or not. You know, you could probably do tofu if you wanted. I've never tried. You might be able to do it. And like green beans, string beans, and anything. You know, just like toss them all in, like one after each other. Just like have a decent amount of awareness of how long it takes to cook. Basically, if it's super hard, toss it in first, and then if it's like, you know, quite a soft thing, you can toss it in later, I suppose. And yeah, but it's like over and done in like 15 minutes or whatever, you know, like final things like tossing the rice you cooked earlier, a bit of soy sauce, light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, sesame oil, salt, sugar, you know, to flavour, to taste. Probably should do that as you go along rather than doing it all at the end, but even if you do it all at the end, who cares? I mean, you're just like, toss, done. It's fantastic. It's a big old mixing pot, I suppose, of things. And if anything, I guess it's kind of like, well, I don't actually know if it's like a casserole, because I don't really know what a casserole is, but I always got that impression for like in Western cuisine, a casserole is basically sort of like a hodgepodge of basically anything, just like toss it all together in a big old like casserole dish. And I was like, what are they called? And then you just like put it into the oven and poof, after like an hour or whatever it takes to cook a casserole, done. I can't say I've had casserole particularly often. You might be like, do you like casserole? I don't mind it. And I think it's quite a wide variety of casseroles. It's like it's sort of like, do you like pasta? And well, okay, it's not really the same, because if I say, do I like pasta? Well, there is a wide variety of pastas. There's like pasta. Generally, pasta is a staple food in it. I don't think there is a staple food in casserole, right? Casserole can be made of kind of anything. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not very experienced with casserole. I'm gonna be, oh, hold on, why don't we just go to Wikipedia for it? Kind of deep, large pan or bowl for a variety of dishes. Oh, that's the name of the actual dish? Oh, of the bowl? Oh. It's also a category of foods cooked in such a vessel. Huh. I didn't know that. Well, the more you learn. So I guess the definitive ingredient in casserole is the casserole dish itself, because that's what the method you use to cook it, I suppose. Anyway, I guess it's kind of like fried rice is kind of like the casserole of like Chinese cuisine. You might be like, that's not true in the slightest, and you're probably right. There probably is that actual casserole equivalent, but I don't know. From my like perspective, it's just sort of like if you ever need tons of stuff just to throw together in a pan, boff, boff isn't a word. Oh, Apple. Yes, that's your name, right? It's a fantastic thing to create and just like learn how to make. And there's not really much to learn how to make. But as I say, literally prepare your vegetables, chop them up into like bite-sized pieces, of course, and just toss it all into a pan. Even if you toss it into the wrong order, then some things will be overcooked, some things will be slightly undercooked. Oh well, as long as it's not something dangerous, then you should be fine, probably. Maybe that's a wrong attitude to take towards cooking things, but still. It's just like fried rice, super convenient. Fried noodles even more convenient, because fried rice, the rice itself takes way longer to cook than a lot of like store-bought noodles do. So extra points of convenience there. Yeah, and it's just it's super easy to make. It's fantastic to make on batch. It's tasty. It's reasonably balanced meal. Kind of depends how you make it. That's kind of like on you to make it a balanced meal, which might be good or bad depending on exactly on your levels of self-control. Huge variety of tastes, mostly savoury, but if you like Cantonese style more, you might if you like sweet tastes more, you might like more of a Cantonese style fried rice, which often does stuff like that. I'm not actually like a super knowledgeable about Cantonese cuisine, so is it like your fried? No, maybe it's Thai fried rice, which has pineapples in it. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, so you can throw pineapples in there. That's how wild it goes. Just chuck anything you want in there. Whoosh, up it goes. You don't need a massive wok or anything. Just do it in a frying pan. Like that's what I do. And then, oh yeah, I forgot what we're doing. We're doing Gulliver. I was just walking sort of back and forth. No, we're running away from Gulliver without even looking for any spurts of water from the ground. Yeah, so fried rice, fantastic. What's the best fried rice I've ever had? That's a good question. Obviously, I'm always fond of my parents cooking. Sort of nostalgia that's steeped up inside of it. Bonus points for that. But the second best fried rice I've had, I'm not really sure. Because fried rice is quite a basic dish, I suppose, in the end. But it's not something you order all that much. Or at least, when I've gone back to China, as a child or a teenager, when people like relatives or family friends will take you out to like nice restaurants, fancy restaurants, right? Because, that's kind of the point, relatives aren't here, or people you don't see very often are here, or, my best friend's children and family are here or something, from perspective of like my parents' family friends. Let's treat them to something nice. Why wouldn't you? Because, we don't go very often, like probably once every... Well, it used to be a lot more common. Like once every like 4 or 5 years or something. Now I don't think I've been for 7 years? Is that right? No, I don't know if it's been that long. Oh well, not really the point. Anyway, it's not surprising. Treat your family/friends out to a nice meal. Yeah, fried rice isn't necessarily something you order about often. You order rice, yeah, like plain like steamed rice on itself, and you order a bevy of dishes or to go, not like to take out, but to go with whatever you have. I mean, it's the way that Chinese meals works, isn't it? It's not everyone gets their own individual dish and you eat that meal. It's just like you have a huge lazy Susan in the middle of a table. It spins around and everyone picks and eats from the same sort of, not platter per se, but table, I suppose. And yeah, fried rice isn't really something you order from it, I would say. You might be like, yeah, it is, but not really. I mean, I've probably had fried rice in a fancy restaurant or something, but it's not something I've had to too often in a fancy old place. I don't know, this might be a shorter episode today. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've got some stuff I need to do. Or at least 15 minutes? Maybe, we'll see. Either that or it'll be pause and I'll come back way later, depending on how things go. But yeah, fried rice. It's just a fantastic food. It's a staple. You know, if you don't know how to cook, well, I don't know if I'd recommend starting with it. Maybe start with like a grilled cheese sandwich or something. That's probably like up there for like ease of cooking. Or like a pasta. Pasta's generally quite easy especially if you buy a store-bought pasta sauce. Not so easy if you don't. But certainly, I'm not gonna say it's up to you. Well, I mean, it is up to you. Is what I mean. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, here's what you should cook as something easy to cook. It's just like a suggestion, you know. It is an easy thing to cook, you know. I guess stews are actually quite easy to cook as well. They're just like boiling stuff, right? Anything which is just put it all together and boil it, and you know, put it in the oven, boil it or something, should theoretically be quite easy to cook. I guess, you know, fried rice isn't. Now I think about it, fried rice is definitely not the easiest meal to cook. It's easy on the scale of meals where you had to actively cook something, and I guess it's a good fundamental dish to cook, right? Because you had to know how to like prepare your vegetables and stuff in advance, etc. And you still had to play an active part in the cooking process. It's a good sort of foundational one to like learn how to cook, I'd say. I wonder what else would make a good like sort of foundational like meal to learn. I think pasta has to be up there. Maybe like a chili or something. Chili's like in a big pot. I'm not really sure. I'm not really much of a chef, so again, I'm talking about food, and someone rightfully pointed out you talk about food quite a lot for someone who doesn't, you know, really care for food or that much. Yeah, true. I still eat, you know, though, but so yeah, it ends up being something I, you know, have to think about. Not in the way about like, oh, I really wonder what I'm going to eat today. I'm going to be like, oh, I wonder what I should have for sustenance today. I'm not a robot, I promise you. Well, maybe. But yeah, I don't really know what I was gonna say to all of us, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Take me back, Cap'n. Oh, Cap'n Road, take me home to Fawnhollow, where I belong, West Virginia. Da da da. I don't know lyrics. Yeah, I might actually just round this episode of it. I don't know, 13 minutes is far too short, surely, for an episode. Well, we might take it to 15 minutes, but, you know, I just have stuff to do, unfortunately. What was I going to say? Fried rice? Yeah, what else should I make up? Like a staple dish that you should learn how to cook? I'm not really sure. I guess, it might sound stupid, but preparing a salad? Because, you know, salads are just like a fantastic healthy meal option to have, you know. And I found them quite nice. I don't know. I think it probably depends on the cuisine that you're used to, right? You should probably, you know, if you have a completely different cuisine, you know, I'm not that familiar with loads of different food cuisines out there. You probably learn something different. I'm just saying this as from my own Chinese perspective. Fried rice, fantastic one. Yeah. I don't know. Fried noodles also, you know, same sort of category. Chow fan, chow mein, or chow mein. If you're much more used to the Cantonese way of saying it, which I feel like it certainly is the most common way to address it, at least in Britain. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any other sort of like tips and tricks of fried rice. You know, it's just the best thing about fried rice is basically, you know, how you could chuck anything into it, and what that makes it good for is the fact that it's fantastic for using up leftover food. You know, just cook a big, you know, not huge, but like a decent sized pot of rice. I mean, you can just like use it multiple times, because fried rice is best cooked using leftover rice on like a previous day or a previous meal or a previous dinner or something. That's at least the way you're meant to cook with fried rice. I mean, of course, there's no like rules or laws about it. No one's going to be like, stop. Are you using fresh rice to make your fried rice or anything like that? It's just sort of like you know, it's just not traditional. Well, I don't know really if traditional is the right word, but it's the sort of way it's done, you know. It's sort of just like you know, cook using the leftover rice that you had from the previous day. You know, use it up, because, you know, rice It's like a thing where you're not meant to like refrigerate rice or something, or maybe I'm just making it up. Anyway, it's about 15 minutes now, so I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Fried rice.